Okay, everybody. So, welcome to the stream. I'm Nito of Solo Queue Legends, and today's stream is going to be a little bit different. We're actually not going to be streaming any games today, but what we are going to do is we're going to stream how I make a YouTube short, right? And so, the YouTube shorts are basically YouTube's answer to TikTok videos, right? Small, sub 1 minute videos that are highly impactful, easy to watch, if you're and mostly for mobile consumption, right? I have a few other YouTube shorts on my channel that have gotten some pretty good views, and so I wanted to show you from start to end exactly what I do to make one of these videos as a video editor, right? So I just played a game, which is you see up on screen. Now it has in the game our Vayne got a pentakill, right? And so I'm going to show you how to pull that clip and then put it inside of a container that will, the correct format for a YouTube short. So let's get started, right? So step one in making a YouTube short is getting the clip, right? And so we're at the end of the game, right? Up here, there is a button for click here to watch your replay. In my opinion, this is the cleanest way to get a clip, right? So we've already downloaded it, but let's say we're coming back a different day, right? Oh, Zeri's come out, so we'll have to stream some games with her later. But let's say you played a game a different day, you want to come back and check it, right? This only works for the current patch cycle. You go to profile, you go to your match history, or you can type in someone else's match history here, find that there, right? You click on the match, and you go over here to download it first, and then you can replay it second, right? So we've already downloaded it. We're going to hit to replay it, and then it loads. So it loads. This is just a regular replay, right? So here's where a little bit of learning, right? If this is your first time playing clip, you'll learn these things. You'll get faster with them, right? So the first thing I do is as soon as everyone loads in, you hit the P key. Now the P key pauses the entire game and lets you, look around, right? Now, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Those keys are associated with these champs up here, right? So Garen would be number 1. So if I'm away, right, and I tap the 1 key, it brings me back to Garen. And importantly, it gives me, you know what? I need to move my, let me move my little talking head here. Oh. There you go. So, Garen's, or the champ we selected, their information is in this little box, right? And that includes health, cooldowns, summoner spells, and buffs and debuffs that they may have on them, right? So if we cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's this team, right? And below that, QWERTY is our team. See? So with these, with these keys, you can kind of zoom around the map. So the next thing that's rather important is this timeline down here. So the timeline will let you know where to find a clip. So instead of scrubbing through a clip and this is a valid option to do, is where you hit P for it to play it, and then the plus key to speed it up, and the minus key to slow it down. You can look for plays that way, but for me, what I found that really cuts down on time is you find the champ you want. So in this case, it's going to be Vayne, right? So that's going to be the R key, right? And you double tap to recenter it. If you know the champ popped off and got a penta, right? So I know Vayne got a penta. I'm going to select Vayne, and then down here on the timeline, you see these tick marks, how they're you know, brighter, the bright tick marks denote that Vayne got a kill then and there, right? So all we have to do is highlight the tick marks, and we can see here that in this instance, at 16:51, the time marker, Vayne killed both Zeri and Garen, right? We go over here, we can see that Vayne killed Senna. We're looking for the Penta. So we're going to go to 2007, which is where Vayne got the Penta. You just tap right there. You recenter. Right there. And what I use to pull clips is the Geforce Experience, right? So, which is built into any GTX or RTX video cards. It's NVIDIA's, Windows software capture. So we're going to hit Alt-Z, turn it on. And also you can use OBS. Basically whatever you use to record your screen is what you want to do. So I'm also going to turn off the music because I want this clip to be as clean as possible. Right? So there we go. We're going to move my little talking head back. Now I have it set up so it's only capturing the game. The capture will not include my head. But it's also important to note that the capture is capturing at 60 frames per second on a 1920 by 1080, right? So if you've ever seen like photographers do this, it's because this is 1920 by 1080. It's like rectangular kind of frame, right? The problem with that is that YouTube short is vertical. But we'll get to that in just a second. So we have Vayne picked, right? R for Vayne. And we're going to get rid of all these other UI elements, right? Which you can do by clicking down here and unticking them, right? But if you know the shortcuts, you can get rid of them. Boop, boop. For display. I like it to be very clean. Okay.
Oh. Can't see where you clicking. Someone's fat head in the way. Smiley face.
He just went out. So we're going too fast. So we wanted to go. Let's go back. And the backspace key goes back 15 seconds, right? So here's normal speed, right? P for pause. U to drop that down. Close the eyeball right there. All right? Now I need everybody to be quiet. From here, we're just going to... hey, Pawn. We're going to watch the clip, right? And as soon as it's done, we're going to capture by hitting Alt F10, which captures the clip. So... And I have it set up, most plays are less than a minute. That's what my clip is set up for. So just watch the clip. Oh. You can try to turn off chat. It's bugged as fuck. I went back because I need a little bit of a buffer. Okay, so we hit Alt F10, and we can actually close the game now. We hit Alt F10, we captured the clip, and now we're going to bring that clip into our editing software. Right? It was a very fast penta. Most pentas are, because of the kill timer, right? So we have to find that clip and bring it into our editing software. one program that I use because organization is so important is a program called Post Haste. And actually, we're actually gonna close League entirely, right? And we're gonna open up Post Haste. So first thing we're gonna do, go to our editing window. We're gonna go to our editing window and we're gonna look for that clip. You can see here that I have some clips that I consider them in the raw state. They're not worked on yet. Oh, you know what? Hold on. It switched the... I gotta turn off automatic scene. There you go. Stop that. Okay, so here's my background. I have a file, I have a window right here, and I have my chat over here. That's what the text to speech was. But here I have a collection of clips that I've pulled that I need to make into stuff, right? And so this one right here should be the vein clip. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna scrub through it, and when it comes to clips, you go from the backwards. You go from the back forward, right? So. And what we're doing here is we're checking the integrity of the clip. We're making sure that there's no artifacts, that there's nothing wrong with it, that the audio is clean, there's no one coughing or dog barking in the background. That's what I'm doing when I'm watching the clip. So it's a good clip, right? That probably lasted like 30 seconds. All right. So from here, oh, well, we do a little bit of file management, right? So we're gonna, first thing we do is hit F2, rename the sucker vein penta, right? And then we're gonna cut it, and we're gonna put it in the project that, like, I have a window that's specifically for League montages, right? So, oh. If you look here, I organize all my projects exactly like this. I have a program, it's called Post Haste. You should be able to see it, linked to that program down in the description below. But with one click, it basically makes you a file structure, right? And every video I do follows this file structure so that it's easy for me to find things, and it just keeps everything super organized. It also will automatically make links with the name of your project to program. So here's the Premiere Pro project, and here's the After Effects. We're not going to mess with any After Effects today because that's a little bit more advanced, and I wanted this to be more of a basic tutorial. So project files, footage, audio, graphics, thumbnails, and exports, right? Well, we're going to put the footage that we just copied or we just cut in there. So now it's in the vein penta, right? So we're going to open up our Premiere Pro file, right? And all I did was Premiere Pro vein penta for today, Premiere Pro. So this is where we're at, right? And then we bring that footage here. Now, if you look, I have the same files already built into my Premiere Pro. Post Haste is like an incredible piece of software, and you can use it for a ton of different things. In this case, I use it for Premiere Pro automatic templates, struct file templates, which is a great way of staying organized. So now, in the future, I know my footage, boom, is right there, right? So if you double click, it opens it up in the source panel right here. Right? Can I see that? Yeah. Okay. It opens it up in the source panel. And what we're doing here is the recording is a minute long, but the action is only like 36 seconds. So going backwards from the end, right? So here's the end of the clip, right? We're going to go back until it starts. So probably right here, right? You don't want to start it too early where people don't know what's going on, right? So right there's good, right? and you see these little mark in, mark out right here. You click that, right? And that cuts, that automatically cuts all this other crap away, right? So now we just have the meat of the clip right there, right? So before we do anything else though, here's the important part of like how to make a YouTube short that's a little bit different from a regular video, right? So I'm gonna go back to my file structure, right? And I have one for sequences, right? Sequence right there, and we're gonna go, that's just the folder. We're gonna create a new sequence, right? And I have already built a custom, you know, lol YouTube short sequence. Always, we're gonna rename it Vein Penta, right? Now this sequence, it's nothing special, but I'll show you the settings for it, right? My games are run at 120 frames per second, but I record at 60 frames per second, right? That's important because you want to make sure that the recording and its frames per second matches up with your sequence settings so that there's no kind of like weirdness going on. So you can see here, my time base is 60 frames per second, right? And the frame size is 1080 by 1920, right? Which makes it vertical. This is the most important part of the whole goddamn thing, is making sure your frame size in your sequence settings are these numbers, right? Because normally it's 1920 by 1080 is like this, remember? 1920 by 1080 is like this. But 1080 by 1920 is like this. And it even says right there, vertical, right? And so we're working Rec 709. That's more advanced stuff you don't need to worry about. All this stuff is fine. You hit what, and again, I have to reiterate, everything about this project stems from this frame size in your sequence, right? This frame size lets everything happen at that vertical setting, which is required for a YouTube short. Vein Penta short. There you go. So now you can see here, again, we have the vertical size, which is required for a YouTube short.
What do you use to capture video when watching your playbacks?
So what I use to capture my videos what do I use to capture my video? It's something called NVIDIA. Hold on. Actually, you can see that, right? Yeah, because this is my actual desktop. So if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, a GTX up, so I'm running a GTX 1080, right? And I know Ponito has a 3090, you lucky bastard, right? You have an RTX 3090, so this is already built in. So I'm using the built-in NVIDIA, it used to be called Shadow Capture, but now it's called the Geforce Experience. You can turn it on by hitting Alt-Z, right? Or if you, like, I'm a big believer in shortcuts. If you go down into the lower right where it says NVIDIA, like I have a graphics card update, if you right click and then over here there's the NVIDIA Geforce Experience, you click that up, it opens this up, right? You go over here to settings. No, I'm sorry. You go over here to, yeah, open in-game overlay, right? And so instant replay is what I use. Now I'm actually going to turn that off because it has to be off for you to deal with the settings, right? So, and here are my settings for the instant replay. And this is specifically for League of Legends clips, which very rarely go over a minute, right? But you don't want it exactly at a minute, right? Because when it comes to pulling clips, you want a little bit of meat before and after, so that you can, when you're editing, you can, you know, kind of cut it down to size, right? So always keep that little buffer on either side at the beginning and the end. So I have my quality set to high. My resolution is the in-game resolution. So here's another thing. You may be wondering, why is my screen like, why is the screen that you're viewing so kind of like oddly shaped, right? It's because I actually game on an ultra-wide monitor, right? So I have a 34-inch ultra-wide curved monitor. But my League of Legends worked in a very small 1920 by 1080 window so that I can capture footage at a standard viewing size, right? Otherwise, it'd be all kind of warped, and then you have to fuck with it for way too long. It's okay. 60 frames per second. My bit rate's at 50. You know, I'm
You
here.
didn't clip my Kiana. Sad face.
I didn't clip your Kiana? Are you sure? We'll actually look into it. But there's a new patch that just dropped. So I can only clip games within the same patch the last 20 games. But let's not get derailed. So these are my settings for a Geforce Experience capture, right? Instant replay. So basically you turn the sucker on, right? You run the clip and you hit the save button, right? Which is for it's Alt F10 is the save button, and that captures the file, right? We're going to turn it off right now because I don't need it running or using up resources, right? So we have our clip, and now we have our 1080 by 1920 vertical slice composition, right? So the way to think about it is, see, the sequence, right? Which this is a sequence. The sequence is the container that the Big Mac goes into, right? And the Big Mac is the footage, right? So sequence is the container, and then the actual burger is the footage, right? But here's the problem, is that our container, our sequence, is shaped like a hot dog, but our footage is shaped like a hamburger, right? And so what happens when you try to shove a hamburger into a hot dog container, a hamburger bun, is wackiness, right? Premiere Pro goes, hey, what are you doing, man? And Monster Warfare 3, I'm sorry if I missed your Kiana. I try to capture stuff all the time, but I have so many clips. And obviously this takes a really long time to do this. It takes a really long time to even make a sub 1 minute clip with no like special effects. Like if you watch some of my other montages, I have special effects in there, and that'll be for a different stream. Today is just solely how do you make a YouTube short. So we have our hamburger. We try to stuff it into the hot dog. If you're joining this, if you're joining the stream, that probably doesn't make any sense, but I promise you it does. And Premiere Pro brings up this warning, right? Clip mismatch warning. This clip does not match the sequence settings. Stop trying to put the hamburger in the hot dog container. Change sequence to match the clip settings? No, we do not want to do this, right? I have always asked, and I leave it on, right? So we want to keep existing settings. We do not want to change the sequence settings. We want to keep our hot dog container, right? Keep existing settings, right? And so now what you have, it's pretty, you can see the difference here, right? Up above in the sequence monitor, we have this, right? But then over here to the right, we have that. So now comes a little bit of fudging, right? So what we do is we move from the source panel to the effect controls, right? And if you've never messed with Premiere Pro, this may seem like a lot of new language, but if you mess with it just a little bit and you like and subscribe to my channel, you can learn how to do this.
Great. Now I'm hungry.
Now you're hungry. Well, you can, yeah, you know what? I should have bought like a hot dog and like a hamburger and then like shoved it in, and then that would have been the thumbnail to this stream. So going back, focusing, right? Going back. So if we click, like if you don't have anything, if you don't have any clips selected, you see how it says no clip selected. If you don't have any clips selected, nothing shows up here in the effect controls panel. But as soon as you click the footage that is now in our sequence, right? And you can see here that we have up above in the effect controls panel, we have how to manipulate the footage, right? Or transform controls, right? Under motion, right? We have position in the X and Y coordinates. So X is sideways, right? And Y is up and down, right? And we can reset that, hitting that button, right? And we have the scale, right? And if you twirl down this little chevron right here, we have scale of the clip, right? Which is going to be very important because this is where you begin to make a stylistic choice, right? So do you want, your viewer to see the entire screen? Because here we can see that we have the entire footage. Or do you want the viewer to see up and tight? Now, you may be seeing the black, what looks like black up above and below the footage. That's actually transparent, right? So there's nothing there. But if we scale the clip up, we can fill it all the way up, right? But if we want to see the whole view of the match, right, then there's these gigantic bars, right? So what I have done for my personal channel, and if you do this, take it, whatever. I'm not the first person to ever make a YouTube video. It's down here. So what I do is I try to go for an in-between, right? I know that the let's put it back to the defaults, right? So if you ever do something and it's like kind of wonky and you're like, oh man, I just need to go back to normal, these little reset parameters right here will put it back instantly, right? So you can feel free to mess with the other ones, but for right now, all we're messing with is position and scale, right? Which is the bread. Position and scale are, and rotation are the bread and butter of like editing. So what we are going to do is I know the footage is centered on Vane because when we pulled the clip, we had the camera specifically on Vane, right? And so if we play the clip, the camera is gonna do its best to keep Vane in the center, right? See that? Okay. And actually, we're gonna mute this. We're gonna mute that right there, and we can turn the stream music back on. There you go. That way we have some like decent background music. What I do is I'm gonna move the clip up to the very top. Right? There. So now the clip is at the top of the footage, right? But I want people to see like Vane's health and her cooldowns and like see what it took to outplay somebody, right? And so what I'm going to do is I know that the footage that I want is right there, right? So over here, so here's the footage that I want, right? But it's part of some other footage. And all we have to do is hold the Alt key and drag this up, right? And now what I have are two instances of this video, right? So I have that one right there and that one right there, right? And what I'm going to make sure is that they're stacked on top of each other. We're actually going to shrink this down a little bit. So now we have two of the exact same video in the exact same position, right? But one of them is linked to the audio, and you can see that they're linked to the audio because when I click on it, when I click on this one, this waveform that you see down here, that's the audio, right? And that's why it's muted. But the one on top is not linked to the audio. The one on bottom is linked to the audio, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to have the top one be the champion's health and cooldowns, and the bottom one I'm going to have that one be like the actual footage, right? And you'll see what I mean here in a second. I'm going to turn off the top one, right? So this little eye with a cross through it means, you know, hide. So we're going to grab this top one right here, right? And we're going to reset it and then put that one to where we want it. Oop. So using only, right? So it's back in its default position and scale, but we're going to move the Y setting, which is this one right here, and we're going to shift it up so that it covers everything, or it covers the top half of the clip, right? And then we're gonna scrub through it real fast. You can still see pretty much everything you need to, right? The primary focus, which is Vane, is not outside of our viewing area, right? You can see the action. Okay? So that clip is good. That clip is where it should be. Now, what are we going to do with all this extra dark space down here, right? And what we're going to do is this other clip, right? The top clip. So the top clip, we need to do something with that one, right? And what I like to do is, so the scale. We're going to adjust the scale, right? So the scale button has a slider up here on the left. I'm operating it with a slider, right? The slider only goes to 200, right? But it lies, right? It's capable of so much more. So we're going to go to 310. We type that number into this blue field, 310, right? And we can see that the clip indeed scaled to 310, right? We're going to move it over, and look, it's almost to that size, right? But here's the thing. You see down here on the clip, it says fog of war / all. We don't need that information. And the clip is gigantic, so it's taking up all this space, right? So what we need to do is do something called mask, right? And mask is basically just telling the program, hey, we only want to view this small window of the application, right? And so we're going to go over here to the left, right, where it says opacity, right? And you see we create a 4-point polygon mask. So you have an ellipse, you have the rectangle, and then you have a free draw, right? So we're just going to hit that. Holy shit, what happened? Right? I know what happened. So the mask is up here. You see this blue square over here? That's where the mask is, right? And if we grab that with our mouse key, we can drag it over. And you can see how the program is saying, hey, anything inside of this blue window, I want to be able to see. Anything outside that blue window, don't show it, right? So what we need to do is put the mask over what we want to see, right? So I want this barrier right here, right? But the mask extends down below our window here. So where it says fit, you're going to click on that 25%. And so that punches you out, by 25%, and we can see the entirety of the mask. Now the mask is more than I want it to be. And there's another thing we need to do. We need to move the anchor point as well. So the anchor point is like the center of the clip, right? It's a little circle right here. It kind of looks like a butthole in the center of the clip. We need to move that. That's not the center of the clip that we want. We want that over here, right? And so what you can do is you can grab that. It disappeared. So Alt-Z, maybe not grab that. Use the X and Y coordinate system over here. This is probably a much easier way of doing this, right? But sometimes you forget what you're doing or how to do stuff because you're streaming and you're expecting people to watch you, and it kind of makes you nervous, even though nobody's watching. But somebody might at some point in time. They might find this useful. I know when I started learning editing, I would go and seek out videos like this one of people who were editing stuff that I wanted to learn. Right? So we want that anchor point. You can see it's right there, right? We want that anchor point like in the center of what we want, right? Then we're going to go back to our mask path. Mask path is the boundaries of our mask, right? So now this is the tricky part, right? You're going to get the mask, right? Because I don't want any of this fog of war stuff. We're going to click there, holding shift, and click there. Now you see the difference, right? Well, let's fit it. Boom. Okay. You probably can't see it because YouTube and Twitch's algorithm is shit. But if you click right there, shift, hold, click right there, and then continue to hold shift, drag both of these. Oh, I fucked up. Dragging both of these anchors up. Fucked up again. Move it up like that. Okay. Click off, and then we want this because we want it to tighten in. We're going to click there, holding shift, click there, so it selects both points. And you can let go of the shift button and then just move these 2 points over. Right? And there we go. Right? So now we have 2 clips. We have our top clip and we have our bottom clip, but the bottom clip is still not big enough to fill everything, right? So let's work it a little bit. So we're going to click the link we want to work with, or the footage we want to work with, which is this bottom one, right? Which is the top on this one. Kind of confusing. Okay. But if you're doing this, you need to be able to think about lots of things at the same time. So it's not to scale yet, so we're going to scale it a little bit more. So 310, how about 325? Not yet, right? And I know what the number is because I've done it for other videos, but I want to show you how you may not have the exact answers. Sometimes it's just about playing with the numbers until you get it right. And honestly, that is editing. And in fact, you don't have to put in exact numbers, right? You can actually click in here and then push up for it to scale slowly, right? So we're going to keep going. Oh, that looks almost right. We're going to click position, right? And we're going to move it a little bit. So that looks like damn near perfect to how we want that portion of the footage, right? So we're going to position the top clip. Position the top clip by using the vertical values. We're just going to scroll down to right about there. Okay, which means that we still have black space, right? So how do we fill that? Well, we're going to get there, right? But for this clip, right, if we hit the play button, the bottom clip is pretty much where we want it. Now, we might see some feathering up here, right? And feathering is just like a softness of that particular mask, right? So we're actually going to go over here to the mask one, and we can see, if we extend this out a little bit, the mask feather is set by default to a value of 10, right? So watch the footage. You see how the footage has like this little dotted line around it? That is the mask feathering, right? And by default, every mask comes at a value of 10, right? You just zero that sucker out. That gives it a hard edge, right? And so now we don't have that softness there, right? So we're gonna look at this footage, right? And we can see when the vein does her spells, right? So there she does her tumble, right? And we see her doing good work, right? So the bottom footage, or I'm sorry, the top footage, that's good to go, right? But now we have to go, it's good to go in that it's scaled and it's positioned where we want it. So we don't have to mess with it anymore, right? But now we're going to go to the top footage, right? So the top footage in our timeline is on the bottom, right? So we click that, it makes it white, and we can tell we're operating with it because over here in the effects panel, we have all the effects, right? So now comes the tricky part of having to work the numbers and the scale. We're going to have to work the transform controls of position and scale so that the footage fits somewhere where it's nice, where we can see stuff, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is we have this big, empty space. We're going to go halfway into it, right? Using the, the Y positioning on the Y value of the position, right? So we cut it in half, and so now we have, half of that space is distributed above and below, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to scale the footage so that it fits, right? So we positioned it there, and we're going to scale, right? You scale it up until it hits one of the, so we hit the bottom part right here, but now we have a little bit of black at the top. So we're going to move using the Y value of the position transform right there. Right there looks like half, right? And then you go back to your scale, right? And boom. Look at that. Our hamburger now fits the hot dog container, right? So now if we play the footage, right? We have our eye on Vane. We go through the footage, right? We see her doing her work. We never lose sight of her, even though there's just like a ton of spells and like flights and flash and stuff. You can kind of see what's going on. And even if you can't, like, let's say right in the middle of the fight, right? There's brush, there's spells. It's kind of hard to see Vane. Even in the middle of all that, you can go down and you can look at the spells and see how much health she has. Oh, her tumble, she just used her tumble, but she's in she's in stealth, right? So yep. That's pretty much. So our hot dog or our hamburger now fits in our hot dog container. We have a clip that is 1080 by 1920, right? And it gives us the pertinent information with the subject in clear view. So at this point in time, like the clip is like, or this clip is about 90% done, right? The only thing that it needs would be, if I wanted to make it to like my standard, would be to find some good music, right, to go along with it. Because if we just if we mute, I'm sorry, hold on, let me bring that back up. If we mute our background music, right, and we just listen to this clip, now for some people, just the stock League of Legends sounds, that's enough. I like to edit to the beat of some music that makes me kind of like feel something. If you watch my Shaco YouTube short, you'll hear like a ha 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 ha, because clown music, right? Music plays such an important factor in it. But for this tutorial, for this little tutorial that I'm doing, I just wanted to show people how to put a hot dog or put a hamburger in a hot dog container, right? So that you can take advantage of the YouTube algorithm. Because right now there's not a lot of content for YouTube Shorts. And if you make something and you put it out there, people will watch it, right? They have no other choice. YouTube is really pushing YouTube Shorts. It's what the algorithm wants. Give it. Make your content this way. And it's not very hard to make another if you wanted to make a regular video, which is what I'm going to do next, right? Because this is pretty much done. We're going to mute that so I can scrub it without hearing that glitchy sound. If I wanted to make a regular video as a 1920 by 1080 and put it as part of a larger project, it's very simple. Excuse me. You go down to sequence, or you go back to your footage, or you go back to your folder structure in the media browser, right? Over here on the right, I have sequences. Double tap on sequences, and here we have the Vane Penta short, right, which is my hot dog container. But let's say we want a hamburger container, which is normally what things come in, right? All we have to do, right, is flip these. 1920 tab by 1080. Now, we're 16 by 9. Everything else is the same. Right? And we're going to rename this one just Vane Penta. So now we have the standard rectangular box that your TV and your monitor, comes in. And all we have to do is go back to our footage, and drop it in there. We're going to keep existing settings. And look, right? This is the full size clip. And I don't have to like change anything basically, because the clip is here. And I can output this to a larger montage. So this is what I'm doing for my channel is I make the YouTube shorts, right? I make the hot dogs, right? And then at the end of the month, I'll put out a larger, 10-minute video or a video of all the clips that I have for the whole month of January, right? And then I'll put it up as a normal, regular, rectangular sized YouTube video for my regular channel, and then I'll have the shorts that feed into it. So it all works together. That's the idea. It's a lot of work though. Like, it's easy to say it. It's a whole other thing to actually do it. Going back to our YouTube shorts, right? So we're not going to be adding any music. We are going to watch the clip at full screen to make sure, with audio on, to make sure everything works fine. So you double tap the program monitor here, right? And it makes it as big as possible. So I'm going to watch my stream and make sure it works. Okay. So we're going to hit play or space bar and watch it. Holy shit. Did you see the damage that she does to Zeri? Watch this, watch this. Okay, hold on. Okay, so Zeri comes in from the bottom, jumps over the wall. She thinks she can burst this Vayne, right? Vayne condemns her into the wall and dodges. Condemn, dodge, right? Vayne is invisible right now. Look, Zeri misses. Zeri misses her Q. Zeri misses her Q. Vayne, 1. Oh my god. Look at the damage. Look at the damage. 1, 2. Procking her, procking her passive. Wow. You know what? That's so good. So that's so good. We might have to add that into the footage, right? So a YouTube short should be under a minute, right? Right now, we're going to hit the backspace, the backward slash on your keyboard, like zooms in the footage. So it takes up your whole timeline, right? Right now, the entire clip is 20 seconds long, right? That's pretty short. Generally, I don't like having anything shorter than 30 seconds, right? So we want it to be at least 30 seconds so that people, when they tune in, they can see something fast, but not so fast they don't understand what's going on, right? So what we're going to do is our standard clip is done, right? So this would be as if we had a hot dog, but nothing else on it. Right? To continue the food metaphor, we have a plain ass hot dog. And you know what? Some people don't mind a plain ass hot dog, but other people like condiments, relish, cheese, ketchup, right? Bacon, whatever. These are just regular condiments, right? And in the case of video editing, the condiments here would be time ramping, or special effects, or just something that's a little bit extra besides just the raw footage, right? And we're going to turn off the audio again. And so what we want to highlight here, right, is this part of it, right? Because Vayne's almost like this is the critical moment of the fight, right? Vayne's got a triple kill. She's hurt, but she's still in the fight, right? Oh my god. Is she gonna die? So in the clip, this is the emotional impact of the clip. And so what we're going to do is on the timeline, we can see that that begins probably around right here, right? So at 11 seconds into, 11:04, we can see that's where something pops off, right? So we're actually gonna, how do we want to do this? We only need to do it to this one. So we're gonna select both clips, right? Because they're both tied to each other, right? This clip on the bottom, or this footage on the bottom that we see here that has her spells, right? It's tied and in sync with the footage on top, right? So any changes that we make have to be mirrored in both, right? And so now that we have our plain hot dog, let's dress it up by doing a little bit of cutting and a little bit of editing, right? So where did I say 11? Yeah. So right here, right, we're actually going to put a marker in our timeline, or better yet, we'll just make a cut here. And I have it set to a mouse binding on my mouse because I do this so much. But I think it's the letter K or Shift K for the keyboard shortcut. Or you can just come over here and get the razor tool and then cut it right there, right? So now we have a separation. You can see there we have a separation, right? And then we're going to go here. So this is the point where the damage is like crazy, right? It makes your eyes bug out. So what I'm going to do is select any clip. I'm going to hit, is it the asterisk? No, it's the M. So I'm going to hit the M key. Yeah. I'm going to hit the M key here, and it's going to put these little green tags to let me know that at this exact moment is where, like, it goes, oh shit, look at that damage, right? And if we use the left and right arrow keys, like, look, 1 frame, 2 frame, there's the damage, right? And we're going to go until that second, boom, done, right? So we're going to cut that. Oh, you see how it only cut this bottom one? We don't want that. We want to cut both of them right there, right? So we can actually shrink this down. We're gonna make these a little bit bigger and easier to see, right? So we're dealing with the footage here. So we have this where it goes really fast. Boom, boom, right? What we're going to do, we're going to increase the size of our timeline. We're going to move these clips over a little bit, right? We're going to grab these two. We're going to duplicate them by holding the Alt key and moving them to the right. And that makes an exact copy, right? So now we have 2 exact copies, right? So one thing I'm going to do here, right, is I'm going to grab these 2 clips. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to nest them, right? And this is going to be, I'm going to call this nest slow down. Boom, right? So I took 2 clips, nested them into 1 clip, right? So instead of having to individually mess with each clip, right, and do what I want to do, I simplified it, right? I'm simplifying my workflow, right? And so what I'm going to do, move this one back, and now I'm gonna so I'm actually gonna swap their position. Yeah, I'm actually gonna nest this clip. Slow down. Okay. I'm clicking in this empty space right here and hitting delete, right? And that kind of brings it all back together. Oh, same thing over here, delete. right? And so what we have right now on the timeline, and backspace to fill everything up, what we have right now on the timeline is we have our footage that goes along regularly, right? And then we have our nested clip, and then we have the exact, like a repeat of that nested clip, right? You see, here's the beginning, right? Zaria gank, right? And then over here, it goes back to the Zeri, right? And then it plays out regularly. And in fact, we can, if we want to be like super neurotic about it, we can cut that off. So like these two, and then drag it back out. So that instead of having that cut, we just have another full clip. So if you want to keep it clean, right? So one thing I like about nested clips is it's bright green. We can see immediately what is going on here. It's different than our regular blue clips, right? So what we're going to do, right, is we have our nested clip, right? We're going to do something called speed ramping, right? And to do speed ramping, we're going to make sure that this is really nice and big. And by doing that, we grab these little handles right here, make it really nice and big, right? And you hit the plus key while you're in the timeline. You hit the plus key. Oh, that's it. Oh God, just fucking up. Okay, here we go. Right? So now, like, we're zoomed in. We're zoomed into this, right? And we're zoomed into this clip so that we can start speed ramping on it, right? And to do speed ramping, it's probably very hard to see it in the stream, but if you hover your mouse over the FX in the top left-hand corner and right-click, you see where it says you have some options: motion, opacity, time remapping, and then speed, right? You have to do that. If you right-click inside the clip, you're going to get all this stuff, right? Which is not what you want. What you want is to click inside that FX. And let me tell you something, that took me for fucking ever to figure out. So you go back, time remapping, speed, boom. Okay, so now we have this little bar in the middle, right? And I'm gonna Control Z and undo it so that you can see how the clip changes, right? Oh God. Yeah. So, Control Z doesn't work like that. Hold on. Okay. So, and then we're gonna be getting close. So if you turn off time remapping, never mind. We're just gonna work from there. So time remapping. Now we have this bar in the middle, right? And what that bar in the middle is basically, hey, at this point in time, if you drag it up, you see what happens? There's like a weird cutoff, right? Right? If you do it like that, the line goes this way and it drops straight down and it cuts, right? It's not what we want. What we want to do is create 2 points, right? Where the footage is playing normally, slows down dramatically, and then continues, right? And then continues to do regular stuff, right? So in order to do that, we have to grab our pen tool right here, okay? And we're going to create a point. Now, you see this point, it dropped it looks like a marker, like the marker that it looks like the green marker that we have over here, right? But this is a blue marker, right? And we're gonna create another marker on the right, right? Because we want it to slow down and then speed up to regular speed. We want it to, if you can visualize it, we want it to go down a ramp, right? Like you're riding a bike, you want it to go down a ramp, coast, and then go back up to regular speed. Now, if you look over in the effects control panel, you can see that 2 keyframes have been made. under the time remapping effect. There's 2 keyframes right here. And if you twirl that down, you can see, right? They also have the chevrons right there. And you can do this in either panel. Both will reflect the same thing. So what we are going to do is, now that we have our little markers here, we're going to go back to our selection tool. And if you grab either one of these chevrons, oh, did I mess it up? I messed it up. Hold on. If we separate the chevrons, we can see here that a Bezier handle appears. And Bezier handle is just a fancy word of going like a lever, right? Like a seesaw type action that you can use. If you grab one of these seesaw ends, you can change it. Oh, fuck me. Oh, hold on. You know what? Let's close that one. What is going on here?
They.rent.
They.rent. Just one of these troll accounts. So we're gonna Alt Z. We're actually gonna get rid of these ticks, and we're gonna. Sometimes if you mess up, you just go back, right? So going back, boom. Separate them out. There we go. So we're grabbing the line to the right of the clip, right? And while we're working on this, we're going to zoom out. We're actually going to move this to give us some room to mess with, right? We're actually going to remove, well, do we want to remove the audio? We're not going to worry about the audio. We're just going to look at the clip itself, right? So right here, what we have is a visual representation of a speed ramp going up, right? So this means that because the clip is shorter, that means that things are happening faster. So if you hit the play button right here, what you'll see is the game playing at a regular speed, and then it speeds up and then stays fast, right? So if we go, boom. It wasn't too dramatic, but let's make it very dramatic. So this is a dramatic speed up, right? You can see, boom. It goes fast, but let's dramatically slow down. And actually, if we, so the angle of the ramp denotes how severe that effect is, right? So if it's a long ramp, right, it's going to take a long time for it to get to that speed. And in fact, if we pull this like that, if we make this as like long as possible, right, it's going to take a long time to ramp up to that speed, right? But if we shorten that ramp, that means the clip is going to go from regular speed to fast speed almost instantly. See? But we don't want that. We want it to slow down, actually. So we're going to go on the right side, right? The right side of the chevron, and we're going to bring that down. Right? So we brought it down, and we can see now that the size of our clip has been extended, right? The size of our clip has been extended because when you slow something down, well, it's going to, it's going to slow down. So hit play, and now you can see how it slows down, right? And it slowed down to like a crawl. Now you can see it, and it's like going so slow, right? So here's where positioning the chevrons becomes important. And we're actually going to continue to increase the size of this little right there. Okay. So we want this chevron. Oh, we want this chevron, like, where do we want it? So whenever you mess up, Control Z, right? We're actually gonna close. Oh, like, I don't want these speed ramp keyframes, right? So I'm selecting them and hitting delete. So there's one there. I can see like a keyframe in here. So we're back to, like, there are no keyframes in this footage at the moment, right? So what I want to do is I want to go to where, like, this specific outplay, right? So right here, right, we're gonna add a marker. Oops. And then dodge, 1, 2. You kind of want to be sparing with it, right? So you know what? I'm only gonna do the autos, like her damage. So 1 auto. So right here is where we're gonna go over here to our markers, and we're gonna clear this one. So we have our markers here, right? There's the 1 auto that does a ton of damage, and then the 2nd auto where she gets the kill, right? So we want our speed ramping to happen here, right? Okay, so we're here. Go back to our pen tool. Go back to our pen tool. Pen tool's not doing it. Time remapping speed. Pen tool. Pen tool's not doing it. So time remapping, toggle animation, right? Fucked it up. But here it is. Okay, now we can do it again. And so much of working with this program is knowing what to do when the program doesn't do what you expect it to do, right? So in this case, I had untoggled the keyframe creation button, I guess you would call it. But over here, under time remapping in the effects panel, right? If you have it turned off like that, that means it won't make any keyframes, right? Which is why I wasn't able to click on it, right? But turning it back on means I am able to click on it, right? And that, knowing how to troubleshoot things is kind of just having experience with the program. So I have a lot of experience with the program, you know. So, but that comes from just messing with the program and watching other YouTubers and how they explain. I mean, I've gotten schooling on this, but I mean, I would be remiss to say that a lot of what I know doesn't come from amazing YouTubers, you know, and other people that have done exactly this type of teaching for free that I learned from. So this is my way of giving back. Anyways, back to time remapping, right? So we have our chevron. We're gonna go back to our selection tool. We're gonna drag the chevron to encompass the part where we want it slowed down, right? So now basically it's gonna play normal, right? And you can see here, like, it reaches the slowest point. So it starts to slow down. Starts to slow down. There she goes with the penta. I actually want it to go even slower. Right? So let's see what it looks like. So she goes, dodges, slow, slow. And then it gets down to like tick, 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 tick. So I really want that tick, tick, tick. I want it to hit its slowest point at this damage mark, right? So we're actually going to bring this back here. We're going to grab the chevron, and you see when I move the chevron, it moves the angle right there. Actually, let's go here. So here's the second hit. We're going to move the chevron to right before it, I think. So it should be regular gameplay, and it should slow down to that last hit. Boom! Right? And then I think that, yeah, so from there, what if we don't need to mess with it anymore? So normally you would ramp back up to regular speed. Let's see what that'll look like, right? So let's see, I go here, I make another chevron, right? Spread it out a little bit, okay? And this one goes back up to 100%. You see on the lower right hand side, there's this percentage, right? That's the percent of speed comparative to what it was before. So if I go back to 100%, that means what it was before, right? And it's very drastic. It's very drastic because the chevron points were very close together. So it's going to go slow, 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 gets the kill, regular speed. Right? Slow, slow, slow. Slows it down. You really get to see that damage she does, and then it goes back to regular speed. That's what I'm looking for, right? We're going to move it back in, right? So now the other clip, the one that I haven't messed with, is butting up against it, right? So it should look, you see that slow motion, and then it repeats. Let's take a look at what it looks like. And so much of video editing is this. It is just like, hey, what is that? Does that look cool? I don't know. Maybe if I try this, maybe if I move this around a little bit. That is the essence of video editing. Video editing is looking at the same, like how long is this clip? Like, it's like just a few seconds. No, not even. It's like a few frames long, right? But I spent at least 30 minutes like messing with it. So let's, and I'm not even done yet. So let's see. Look at that damage. Poof. Right? So one thing that I always look at when I'm editing is how does it read? Right? And what I mean by that is if I'm a viewer, does it look cool? Does it make me like excited to see something like that? Well, let's look at it again, and I think we're missing something here. So look at that damage. Honestly, I don't know if we need. I don't know if we need this like it to repeat. I think the slowdown is enough to let you know, holy shit, that's a ton of damage, right? Yeah. So what we'll do, so she goes here, she gets that second kill, and it says pentakill, right? So that's about right there. Cut, shift, delete, so that it automatically slides over. And again, what I just did right there, I did it really fast, right? But as a video editor, your job is to get a project done as fast as possible so you can move on to the next project, right? But as far as teaching you, this is what you do, okay? So you find out where you want to make the cut, right? So this clip ends where it says pentakill. right? It says pentakill right there, and she's at 122 health, right? So we're going to look for the exact same frame. Pentakill, she's at right there, all right? So then we're going to select both clips, right? We're going to hit the razor tool button, cut, cut, select the selection tool, select both of these, holding shift, delete, moves, it deletes the clip you had selected and then moves the rest of the selections forward, right? So now it should look pretty seamless. Okay, so, but we have an issue here, right? The issue is the audio, right? So the time remapping handles the visual, but does not handle the audio. If you look, the audio has been, the audio doesn't keep up with the time remapping, right? So we can watch it, and this is what it sounds like, right? Regular. So we have an issue here where the audio cuts out, right? So, because we spliced the two clips very closely together, your brain fills in this gap in the audio waveform, right? But what can we do to fix that so it sounds a little bit better, right? Well, if you hold the Alt key without anything selected, if you hold the Alt key and you click the audio, it clicks just the audio, right? Let's see here. Can we stretch this audio? Alt click, right click. We can. So what we want to do is stretch the audio maybe to where the marker is right in the timeline, right? So Alt, select the audio. It selects just the audio. It's not selecting the clip, right? We're going to right click and we're going to go speed and duration, right? And this is another way of time remapping, but it's a little bit different. For right now, this is kind of a janky way of matching the audio, right? So right now the audio is set to 100%, right? What we want it to be, we want this clip to take up some of this space, right? So we're going to slow it down by 80%, right? Let's see if we get close. Okay, let's listen to it. Okay, that's not working. So what we'll do is we're going to cut it again. We're going to cut just the audio, right? So that slows down here, right? And then we need it to reach there. So this, now that I've split up the audio, this audio part is what I'm going to change the speed and duration to, let's do 75. Not enough. Okay. Let's do 65. Okay, I think that should be enough to cover it. So let's listen. Wait a minute. What am I doing? We can grab... Okay, we're going to Alt, Shift, click this one. We're going to move this audio over so that it matches now, right? Let's see. Does that read? Let's double click and look at it again. Okay. From the beginning. Let's see. Does it read? Does it read though? Like, this is the hero moment right here. See, this is where... Oh, also, don't forget to hit Control Save. I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. You should be hitting Control Save every single time you do any kind of effect, right? You should be hitting Control Save. And because believe me, if Premiere Pro had crashed right now, this entire project would have been done. It would have been a waste of... Let's see, how long have I been streaming right now? Hold on. Let's see here. Well, I've been streaming for an hour straight, right? And I've been streaming for an hour straight this clip, and that entire hour of work for this clip would have been done, right? So always save your file. You know, I do keyboard shortcuts. Hit save anyways, right? Do it multiple times. Do it a ton of times. So where were we before I got off on that tangent? So this is what takes up a lot of time, right? Because now we've added a little bit of relish to our clip with the slowdown. Let's make it read even better, right? Let's make it read even better, right? And what I mean by that is, like, let's really emphasize this moment, right? So vein, tumbles, autos, right? So what if we have a, like, you know what? I don't know what happens if I try to cut this clip. If I try to cut this clip, what happens? Does it keep the time remapping? It does. Okay. So now we have the clips. Oh, but you know what? Because it's nested, but I can double click it in here and get the two nested. Okay. So this will be pretty easy. Whew. All right, we're already at an hour into this, but we're gonna do a little bit more. Okay, we're almost done. The first part is getting the clip where you want it, and then you have to get the right music, and then you have to get the sound effects. So this is just like the first part of the clip, and so people are like, "Hey man, why don't you put up some new footage and stuff like that?" Any video editor that does this frequently will tell you it takes a long time to get this stuff done, because there's so much like tinkering that you can do. There's so many little things that you can add. And one of the things that we're going to add is I want this moment. I want this moment of Zeri just getting railed. I want I want it to be like zoomed in. I want you to see Vane. I want you to see Vane reposition, miss, or Zeri misses, and then Vane just boom. And maybe we're gonna have a crack, like a lightning sound, right? So right here, we're gonna cut this clip right here. We're gonna go in, and so this is where this is where the zoom in is going to happen, right? We know that the top footage is this bottom footage. We're actually going to do a keyframe right here. Oh, let's zoom in. We're going to do a keyframe right there. So we create a keyframe. We're going to move that keyframe back a little bit. And then we're going to scale this puppy up, right? We're going to keyframe the position as well, and then we're going to go back to that. Going to move it over. Because what a good dodge, right? So that means that, yeah, we're gonna see the dodge. Look at that. Look at the dodge. Look at the dodge. Okay. We're going to see the dodge, right? And what I want to do is I want to follow this auto that Vane does. So what that means is that, you know what? I think we're scaled in too tight. It's cool, but I think we're too tight. We're going to roll this back a bit. We're going to roll this back, which means we need to adjust the horizontal positioning a bit more. Right there. I think that's good. Okay. And then okay, from right here, right? Now we have to follow the, and we're gonna manually track this thing. There's probably an easier way to do it. We're gonna do it in motions of 10. Actually, yeah. I think if you hit shift, it does it in 10. So we're actually gonna, if you come up here to the effects control panel and you select these keyframes, we're gonna just delete them, right? We're gonna hit this chevron, go back there. And so if you hit shift, if you hold shift and then left or right arrow key, it will advance in 10 frames, right? So 10 frames. 10 frames. Okay? So here we're going to position a bit. Okay? 10 frames. Position. 10 frames. Position. 10 frames. Right? Now we have Zeri fully about to get nailed. 10 frames. 10 frames. 10 frames. 10 frames. 10 frames. Okay? And then we can copy these over here. And we go back to normal, right? So let's review that. Whoa, that is way too spastic. That's way too spastic. So let's smooth it out, right? How do you smooth something like this out? You can kind of just get rid of some of these intermediate keyframes. So it goes, and again, this is what takes so long in editing a video, right? We're here, we go back in, So I think this is too fast right here. Okay, so here, and really what it is I'm following the missile, right? But maybe the missile can go, maybe these frames can go a little bit further out, right? So here, let's increase that there. Let's see, what does it look like? So this space right here needs to be longer, right? So let's play it. But we're losing where Zeri is, right? So the focus should not be the missile. The focus should be Zeri. So we're going to grab these two keyframes. We want them on Zeri. So it's going to happen real fast. Boom. Right? And we're going to copy these keyframes. We're going to hold that, right? So whenever something major happens, let the viewer like soak it in. Let them like see the damage. So vein tumble, misses, cues, hits, it holds, she absorbs the damage, it zooms back out, vein gets the penta. So let's see what it looks like. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Control save, right? Now, if we pull out, we should be able to see that played out in slow motion, right? Let's watch it again from the beginning, because I think we got it. Control save. We're going to full screen this by double tapping the program window. Spacebar to continue. Okay, I think we're almost there. I think we're almost there. So, that's pretty good. How do we want to end it? Like a YouTube short, and this is something you need to keep in mind, a YouTube short has to be at least under a minute, right? That's the maximum length for a YouTube short, right? Even with our cuts and our slowdowns, right? We're still only 23 seconds. I like to have at least something up to 30 seconds. I don't want to post anything less than 30 seconds long, right? So we need to make up this gap in time right here. And the way to do that is we can make a vein intro. right? We can make a vein intro. God, I'm sure that's like ear rapey, that sound. So I muted that track. So let's see here. What can we... So now, right? This is all good, but what can we do to increase the length of this clip, right? Maybe we can add an intro, an outro, a like and subscribe, right? So what we can do, where's my libraries panel? Okay, go to Window, Libraries, right? So this is going to look kind of funny, right? But my libraries panel, I've collected a ton of like League of Legends icons and things like that, right? So let's say Vayne, right? It's Vayne. So I have here all the Vayne icons, right? Let's go to the very beginning, right? Again, we're gonna save, control, save, right? We're gonna select everything, right? We're gonna group, right? So now if I click on something, the whole thing moves, right? So I know I want it to be at like, I want it to end at like 30 seconds or close to it. So now I know that we have 6 seconds to mess with. So inside those 6 seconds, I want to make something that's like, something that says Vayne, like right off the bat, like toof, 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 right? And so I didn't want to get into like an After Effects tutorial, but maybe we don't have to, right? Let's bring these icons into our graphics folder, right? So now they're there, right? And let's bring those here, right? But here's where things are going to get a little funny. Right now, they're on the timeline like this, right? But what we want is for them all to be stacked on top of each other. Actually, I wonder, is there a way to do that? So sequence, So this is automate to sequence, but that just puts them one over one each, right? But what I want is them on top of each other. Yeah, I don't want that. It's okay. That's fine. And we can just stack it like this. So if you stack them, you can see that the timeline automatically makes these tracks, right? So now I have them all on top of each other, right? So let's grab those, bring them all over to the front, close this out, right? Now, if I have them all selected, can I edit their, nope. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick one, this final hour. Actually, we're going to pick, yeah, the top one, which is tumble, right? And then we're gonna scale this puppy up, way up, right? So 456, and we're gonna copy and paste that scale parameter to all of them. Motion copy, right? So we're gonna go to the rest of these. Oh, can't. Hmm. So we have to do them individually. Paste, Night Hunter, paste, final hour, paste. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this. And so much of video editing is learning the tricks to figure that out, right? So then we're gonna move it to condemn to the side, final hour to the side, and down. And this is just so that I can see where they're gonna go, right? So I can decide where I'm gonna go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 spells. How do we want to arrange them so that it looks pretty cool? And then maybe we'll have some text, right? And we're gonna control save. Oh, you know what? We'll have it 4 on the corner with the Night Hunter in the middle. Okay, I think that's what we'll do. So Night Hunter. We'll have Night Hunter position right in the middle, which means tumble needs to go down and to the left. Okay. And that means silver bolts. Okay, that's good. Tumble needs to go a little to the left. Okay, which means that condemn actually needs to go up. Right there. And then silver, is it? No, final hour, go up and to the right. There you go. So does it have to be perfect? I don't know. Does it? I don't think so. But here's where we want is the Night Hunter. We want Night Hunter to be on top. Right? There we go. Looks like tumble. Oh, we don't need this. We can close that panel. Is there an align function? Windows. I don't believe so. So, I mean, the best way to do it would be, we know tumble's vertical number is 1264, so then we can go to silver bolts, type in 1264. Wait, is that silver bolts? Yes. And then we could type in 1264 right here, and boom, we know that they're exactly horizontal to each other, right? Okay. And we're going to do the same thing with these two. So that's 600. Let's see, 651.8. Boom. So now we know that they're exactly aligned with each other. Okay. So now we're gonna do a little bit of animation, right? And this is very simple stuff. It's not difficult if you have money. So we're gonna go to Windows. We have some extensions I love to use, which is Premiere Composer. Yeah, we're gonna use Premiere Composer. Now this is a plugin. You can do this manually, and we might end up doing that manually, because I mean, most people where they're just starting out, they're not going to have this kind of stuff. So, all right, let's do it manually. Hmm. God, this is just so much easier to do in After Effects. I wanted to do everything in Premiere Pro because After Effects is like a whole other monster to learn. Um, yeah, and we do need one more text. Mm, we need to add a text right here. Also, if you ever wondered what the font is for League of Legends, it is Fritz Quadrata. So that's opacity. And we're gonna let's move it down. Why did it not change to Fritz Quadrata? There it goes. You know, Fritz Quadrata standard, I think is what it is. Yep. And we're gonna star that because we use it all the time. So we have 6 seconds, right? So it goes. So something has to happen, and even 6 seconds is hella long for like an intro animation. So instead of 6 seconds, right? It needs to be that. So was that? I think it's W. Yep. And these all need to have like a basic fade effect. It doesn't. I'm trying to avoid using anything that would be that you'd have to pay for. This is all just built into it, right? So I'm hitting Control D to apply like the default transition. To all of these. Okay, so now it should all come in. I'll go out. Whoa, 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 what happened there? So some of them are transitioning faster than others. Oh, you know what? Because there's a difference between cross dissolve and dip to black. So we're gonna cross dissolve. Oh, what is going on with this little puppy? Get out of here. Cross dissolve. Cross dissolve. Okay, that should be all of them at the same time. Except it's not. Why? Why are we not? Troubleshooting. Ah. Dip to black. Replace that with cross dissolve. Any more? Okay. So they should all be dipping the black, right? So we have vein, right? Cross dissolve. So now we need to add some motion. Oh god. So now we're at minute 40 into this thing. And we're almost there. I keep saying that. because I need desperately to believe it. We haven't had any music in a while. There we go. Thank you, Harris Heller, Stream Beats. I like really appreciate this, Harris Heller. Thank you so much. Dudes out there providing awesome resources for streamers. Okay, fade in. And you know what? I like Harris Heller had a video editor. Hold on, I'm on his Twitter all the time. I'm just blanking on his name. I wanted to give a shout out to that dude because he really. I know his name's Sam, but I want to remember what his Sam. God damn it, Sam. Hold on. I have to give this shout out to. It's important to me. Okay, Harris Heller. Sam Woodhall. Sam Woodhall is a fantastic streamer slash video. He's a video editor, and now he's doing streaming. But he does a great job of educating people on how to do stuff like this, right? Except he gets like 1 million views, and I don't. But always give kudos to people who have kind of like blazed the trail, and he definitely has. So thank you, Sam Woodhall. And this is a super basic title, but I wanted to keep it super basic so that anyone with Premiere could get this done and just see, you know, how to do it, right? Okay. So what we are going to do now is we're gonna nest all these. We're gonna nest all these so that we have a nice clean timeline. Group. Oh, dang it, not group. Nest. Okay, and we're gonna call this the intro, right? So now it took all those, right, and crunched them down. So now we have this. Wait, there's still a fuck up here. So we're gonna go in there, and it looks like condemn is the fuck up. Oh, yeah, final hour in condemn. For whatever reason, they didn't have cross dissolve. We're gonna fix that. All right. So now what we are going to do is we are going to, without opening up After Effects, which would make this so much easier, we're gonna hand animate these things. Like, you're gonna see one thing, and then it's gonna be like boom, 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 or maybe boom, boom. Wait, let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Go here, 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 here. Right. So. Vector motion. What is this? What is this? Vector motion. Interesting. Oh, that's that. That's not what I want. So we have what's her? Let's see. And layer ordering is going to be important here, right? So we want Night Hunter. So Night Hunter's not going to move, okay? But Tumble is going to move. So we're going to make a position keyframe, right, for Tumble, and we're right in the middle of it, right? But if we go back, let's go back to like where the cross dissolve is, right? And we're going to move her behind. Just like that, right? And so what happens is she's gonna spit out like that, right? Cool, cool, cool. All right. So we're going to copy these keyframes. We're gonna go to, what's that, silver bolts? Silver bolts, right? We're gonna go to position. We're gonna copy those, right? But at this keyframe, instead of being there, we're just going to move it over to this. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Boom. Oh, our timing's messed up. Or is it? Actually, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Yes, our timing is messed up. Because I want it to be top left. Oh, Jesus. So really, everything needs to start here. And then go bang, bang. So here. We'll handle it. We'll handle it. Let's go to... Starting to get tired. Condemn. Position. Paste. So now condemn is there. But we're going to go to the second keyframe. Second keyframe, and then move that up, right? To 645.5. Right? We're going to go to final hour. Start at the crossfade. Position, pace, right? Going to the second keyframe. 645.5. And then we just move it over. So now we should have bam, right? And we're going to fix bolts. We're going to fix bolts. So we're going to find silver bolts right there. We see the keyframes right there. We're going to move all the way back to where the end of the cross dissolve is. And all we're doing is going to copy or select, then move these over there. So now it should all poof, bust out. Poof, bust out, and then done, right? So, you know what? We're gonna easy. Oh shit! It's After Effects. So right click, and you're gonna go to temporal interpolation. Man, I'm like running out of steam. Okay, we're gonna do something called easing, or easing. Okay, and it sounds way more complicated than it is. All you have to do is select your keyframes. Right click, temporal interpolation, and we're going to go ease out, right? And so now you can see the graph went from straight to having a little sass to it, right? Temporal interpolation, ease out, right? And we're going to do that to all of them. So Night Hunter position. Night Hunter is the only one that stays still. So we go to tumble. Highlight, interpolation, ease out. And if you twirl it down, you'll see what I'm saying, right? So silver bolts already has it. Final hour, you see how it's a straight on. Two, ease out, boom. Condemn, same thing. Highlight the two keyframes. Highlight two keyframes, right click, ease out. Okay, so now it won't be so robotic of just like A to B. It'll actually be like a little curve to it, and you'll see here, right? Oh, Control save our work. There we go. So in the normal, and there's some basic animation principles of squash, stretch, overemphasis, overshoot. Are we going to do that? No, we are not going to do that. That's something you guys can learn on a different video. This thing's already at like 2 hours, right? 2 hours for like stretching 30-second video, right? So let's see. God, that's so fucking basic. You know what? That's super basic. Let's add a vein. See here. No, we don't have a vein splash. So we're gonna go to lol wiki. right? And we're gonna look for vein. I'm doing this on a different monitor, so you guys won't be able to see this. I mean, I guess I can just fucking bring it over here. Oh, that's a super dope. Right click, save image as, vein sentinel render. Vein splash, save. There you go. Okay, shrink that down. I'm gonna bring it in here. Boom. Okay. Oh. Okay, now we're just gonna position and scale her. Like, a lot of these things are just like, are pretty simple. Like, you're gonna be doing the same shit all, like, on every video. I do like this, but where am I gonna put her? Like, do I put her behind it? She's got so many skins. Is that the one that she's using in the game? Yeah. Yeah, it is. So what if we use that one? And again, so much of video editing is experimenting and seeing what like speaks to you. Just, what if we just get this real big? There you go. There you go. Right? And then we put the intro, like, hides her face. Right? But what if we move the intro down a bit? If people know it's vain, do we really need that text? Let's see what it looks like without it. And then and then what if we it's a shame that the model here is not the arc-like model. And it would take like, I know how to make it, right? And so basically you would load in the game, create a green screen background using Creator Suite, and then take a picture of the model, and then key light the green screen out of there, and then you would have a clean plate of the vein model, right? Am I gonna do all that for this video, for this particular stream? God, I could, right? But I think that's getting, again, the purpose of this stream is just to keep it pretty basic, right? So why don't we put this vein in between these, right? And then move her to the side. So if the idea is to keep this pretty simple, where the hell is my effect controls? There we go. How about that? Right? Like that. Which means that these two need cross dissolve on the front and the back. consistency. We want to keep it consistent, right? And with the vein graphic, I want her face to be pretty easy to see. So let's scale it up even just a little bit more. Yeah. There we go. Right? So and then he goes and he goes and he goes. Control save. Save your work. Okay. At the end, I am going to do something that is a little bit cheating, right? We're going to get some social media in here. We want to like and subscribe. There you go. We're going to add this guy in here at the very end. Okay. Add. There we go. Now this is what's called a mogurt, which is a little bit of an advanced thing, right? But basically, it's a graphic, right? You know what that is. You see it all the time on every single channel. But look, it gets us over that it gets us over that 30-second like minimum that I have for myself, right? And then we're gonna we need to add one more cross dissolve right there. Insufficient media, that's fine. I don't give a shit. And then cross dissolve right there. Actually, let's move this cross dissolve to the start of the cut. Oh, nope. End of the cut. There we go. So now, it'll go boop. Clean, right? Almost there. Oh, almost there. He says 2 hours. Oh, you know what? I would love to know when the first time I say that is in this stream, and then like follow it back up with like, okay, well, it took exactly an hour and a half later. Okay. Oof. Okay. So, our meal is almost complete, but no meal is complete without a drink, without a tasty beverage, right? So we have our hamburger, we stuffed it into our hot dog container, right? But now we need a beverage to wash it all down with, right? And that beverage is audio, right? Which is super important because right now, at the beginning of our clip, there are 6 seconds of dead sound. And then the game starts, right? So we need audio to finish, to round out this combo meal of a clip, right? So we need something for these first 6 seconds, right? And you know what we need? We need a Vane quote, right? Because Vane has some quotes. So we're gonna open up a. Let's see. Oh, that's way too big. Let's go here. Well, wiki, right? Actually, do I have any Vane audio just like saved already? League montages, champ icons, V for Vane. Audio. Oh, I do. Listen to this. We got it. How How about I bring swift death, right? Let's open it with not Windows Media Player because that's fucking gross. But MP, there we go.
I bring swift death.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So I bring swift death. Because organization is super important, we're going to go back to our project, right? We have a bin for audio, right? Sound effects. Go back. I bring swift death. Pop that in there, right? And will it fit? Let's see here. Zoom in.
I bring swift death.
Sure. So here's where the like mixing comes in, right? You see over here, we have our audio bar.
I bring swift death.
Okay, that is gonna pierce someone's eardrums, right? So what we want to do is go over to our audio clip. I usually go right here. Yeah, I go right here because so that's on track 2, A2, audio 2, right here. We're gonna put a hard limiter on here. And at -10 sounds great. Let's see how that works.
I bring swift.
Okay. We're gonna double click it. Maximum amplitude. Let's do that.
I bring swift death.
Yes. So check this out, right? If we turn this effect off,
I bring
look at where
swift
it's
death.
almost peaking, right? We turn it on,
I bring swift death.
much more manageable. Okay, cool. So that little bit of
I
audio
bring
is
swift
done.
death.
We're gonna monitor the audio levels, right? So the cutting and the rearranging of the footage is now done. We don't have to mess with that anymore, right? Now the focus has shifted. So if you think of video editing in stages, you can think about it like this, right? Preliminary organization, footage acquisition, organizing the footage and cutting it down to trimming the fat, right? And then putting the footage where you think generally it's going to go, right? And then once the footage is where you generally want it to go, then you're going to be doing special effects to the footage, right? After the special effects are pretty much where you want, and the footage is locked in, it's looking how you want it to look. Oh, that reminds me, we got to do some color adjustments as well. But once the footage is looking how you want it to look, then we're going to do audio, right? And color adjustments for footage is really easy. In fact, it's so easy, I'm going to show you how to do it in like just a few clicks, right? We're going to go adjustment. We're going to go to this new, see, we're going to go back to our original media browser, right? I guess I'll put this in graphics, right? We're going to do an adjustment layer, right? The adjustment layer automatically adjusts itself to the size of your composition. We're going to put this in an unused layer that covers our entire, all of our footage, right? Now, it doesn't look like there's anything going on, right? But what I like to do is find a layer that's not too busy, click on it, and then we're going to go to, we're going to control save, right? Go to Lumetri color, and we're going to, you know, add in a little bit of contrast. You know, we're going to make the highlights a little bit high, you know, lighter, or highlights higher, shadows a little bit darker, right? Maybe increase the exposure a bit. Black's a little bit blacker, white's a little bit whiter, right? And we're gonna it's very easy to want to increase the saturation, right? Like make it like hyper one color, right? Just a little bit will be fine, right? And you can do LUTs and make it look like there's a lot that you can do here. right? If you want it to look like the Matrix, you can make it look like the Matrix, right? Oh, that looks kind of dope, actually. The intensity's a bit much. And if I don't want it to go over the bottom part. So if we move that adjustment layer up, kind of maintains that color, right? And think about it, like the Matrix is like a neo-tech kind of awesome, right? So it kind of fits. Fuck. You see how you can get lost in editing? See how you can get lost in editing? The intensity is pretty good. Let's sharpen it a bit, right? We're gonna go back to basic corrections. I do want it a little bit brighter, right? And it's such a little thing. It would be very easy to not even notice, but watch the footage if I click it off. Oop. Regular, right? Look, it just pops a little bit more. It just like makes it a little something, right? So we're actually gonna leave that, right? So Control Save. What were we doing? Sound, right? We want that drink with our combo meal. So here, right? So let's listen.
I bring swift death.
Okay, you know what I want? I want like the sound of like cracking thunder right there. Yeah, I want cracking thunder. So I actually have a small library of sound effects. Do we have one that says like thunder? We have the Terminator sound. What is this? Actually, that sounds pretty good. This barrel exploding sound. So we're gonna go back to our audio bin, sound effects, barrel exploding. Bring it back up. And where's that? Okay, left, left, left. So I find that if you put the sound effect like right before something. Oh, do you want to go out, dog? Okay. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna let the dog out. Maybe refill my coffee. Okay. Video editing, am I right? Where were we? Ah, sound design. Right. So let's hear it. Yeah, actually the fade in, or like the length of that sound kind of like impacts it, right? It makes it very impactful. Okay, we actually want it like right when the missile makes contact with Zeri, which is actually, look how many frames, right? So we'll move this up.
VR. Rent.
What's up, dude? Valrent. Vade.rent. What is this? These bots. This is these bots. Terrible. Okay. So. Okay. Let's add another clip, another vein sound right here. Like just imagine she's like, yeah. GG, well played, losers. So let's go back to vein audio. Oh, we got a taunt in here. Let's see what the taunt sounds like.
Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
Okay, there's that one. What about this one? So this is op.gg. That's why. You know what? That's fine. Oh, put it there. Okay. And then save.
Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
God damn. All right. Hey, bad dog.
Listening to I Hate You by SZA. Tap the banner to hear more trending tunes on Hit Songs 2022 on Spotify.
He ran off. Like, he's like way out there. I have to go chase down my elderly basset hound. Okay. Whew. Oh my gosh. This is why people go into an office to do work. So that they're not disturbed by their bad hound dog. So, see, we are on 2 hours and 23 minutes, right? All right, let's see how it looks. Control save. Maximize it in the program window. Let's see.
I bring swift death.
We have color correction. We have some sound effects. We have a hero moment.
Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
Looks like a video to me, right? Video is 31 seconds long. 31.3 seconds long, right? It's under a minute. Over 30 seconds. It looks clean, right? It's a very, and this is a very basic video. This is a very basic video. Like there's no advanced After Effects And when I say After Effects is like how you do visual effects in videos, right? So like I'm not putting in any anime or anything like that. And even like the audio is very basic. We only had what, like 2 vein quotes and a thunder sound, right? There's no mimi sounds or anything like that. This is a very clean, basic video.
I bring swift death.
Okay. So I'm looking at the audio of the actual track, right? So if we go down to actually I don't use that one, I use this one, right? We're gonna lengthen this panel because I want you to see what I'm looking at, right? And that is the audio.
I bring swift
So we have these
death.
little bars. We have the master. We have the A1 audio. The A1 audio is pretty much at 15 to 12, right? What I'm looking for is I'm making sure it's not peaking. And peaking is that like loud ear rapey sound, right?
Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
Okay. So, I actually want to increase this audio quite a bit because I want it around 10.
I bring swift death.
Okay.
I bring swift death.
Okay. Our thunder sound is now too low though. So, our thunder sound is too low. So what we are going to do, we're going to increase the sound of that particular sound effect, right? Maybe it can be kind of hard to see it. So you look, there's a little line that is the volume. We're just going to pump that sucker up. But the hard limiter is affecting everything in that track. So a really easy fix, just pop it on a different track. Now it's going to be loud as fuck. Yeah, in fact, it peaks, right? So I'm going to open it up, bring it back to baseline. That's good. Okay. So, final review. And final review is we're going to delete tracks that are empty. Okay? This is a very basic timeline here. Very basic. And so, for final review, at the end of a video, when I think I'm about to hit export, right? I go, okay, do we have color, or is our footage looking good? Yes. Is there a story? Yes. Okay, so do we have a hero shot, something that's compelling? Yes. Okay. So, is it formatted correctly? Yes. Okay. Do we have color correction? Yes. Do we have sound design? Yes. Okay. Then if we have story, color, and sound, then we can export this sucker.
I bring swift death. Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
Okay. So, our video is done. But before we can upload it to YouTube, right, we have to think of a title for it. Something that's catchy, something that's compelling. So what are we thinking? What should we call this, right? Vein nukes. What's that? Zeri. Okay. All right. Well, now we have the name of the popular champ. We have a expletive, right? And then we have a vein, another popular champ. How about let's mess with the algorithm, right? Zeri gets nuked, all caps, by vein. Zeri can't stop vein penta. How about Zeri thought? Something really... I hate this part. I hate it. I hate it. Zeri thought. Vein penta. Easy. GG. Yeah, this looks trolly. This looks trolly enough. Very thought, vein penta, easy, GG, well played, right? So that's what we'll use for our title. And yes, I know it's clickbaity as fuck. It's what the algorithm, which is what you want,
Bring
right?
Swift death.
Okay.
Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
Okay. Control save, right? And then Control M to export. So these are the export settings that I use for this. First, we want to make sure that it's going into the right place. League montages, my quick hits, vein penta, exports, shorts, right? And then hardware encoding goes very fast. I use software encoding so that I can do a double pass on the bit rate. And there's a lot of people that talk about this. I go 1620. And you can watch a whole hour long YouTube about bitrate settings. This is just what I use, right? And then you want render at maximum depth, render quality, blah blah blah. So our frame size 63 megabytes, 30 seconds long, and H.264. Let's do it. And we are going to sit here and watch this render. Like this is what it takes to edit a video, right? Real-time rendering. This is on my computer. I'm running with shit. Oh shit, did I get rid of it? Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, so my system, I have 64 gigs of RAM. I'm running on a 1080, an old 1080, and I have a Ryzen 7 2700 AMD processor. Not like nothing crazy high end like you can get now, right? But I built this thing myself a few years ago. Okay, so our video is done rendering. And because we organize everything, I know where it is, right? Quick hits, vein penta, right? It's in my exports folder under shorts, right? So we are going to pause the audio and we're going to watch it.
I bring swift death. Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
Looks good. All right. So we are done with this file. We're still going to save, right? And so now I'm going to go to my YouTube. Which I will show you here. So, okay, we're in my YouTube now. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, we're going to go to upload video. Okay, oh, where'd it go? Okay, we're going to click the video and drag it over. Close that. Okay, we're going to get the title. Okay, and this is very important. This is very important. You do hashtag shorts, right? I think you're allowed to do 3 hashtags. Okay, people are probably looking for Zeri content. So I'm gonna you know what? I'm not gonna be that sleazy. I'm gonna do vein, right? So in the description we go, well, what was this guy's name? What was this guy's name in the actual League game? It was like Edge or something like that. Well, here's how we're going to find out, right? Games played. This was the first game I played today. This is the first game I played today. Come on. Profile, match history. Okay, gonna open that up. Easy mini. View profile. Okay, I can't actually get... I can't, like, copy and paste his name because he's got, like, these weird characters in there. Oh, well. Let's see. Easy mine. Oh, hold on. Okay, let's not get distracted though. Dog, stop barking, please. I'm so close to being done with this. Easy, let's see. How does he spell it? God, I'm like a fucking nerd. Okay, easy mine. Let's see. Main. Executes. Executes. This, I hate this part. I hate this part of uploading videos where I have to come up with like a clickbaity title that'll make people watch it. I hate this part. Main executes. a clean penta after dodging a Zeri. After dodging a Zeri by a hair. Okay. And then we're going to put in my Professor link. Right? Wait, that's the Professor. Copy to clipboard. Professor. Game stats. What else? Like and subscribe. And maybe like a, you know, that's good. It's a short. Right? Is this made for kids? I don't think so. Show more. I don't like making content specifically aimed at children. I want people that are older people that can appreciate my brand, I guess. So in the tags, we're going to put in Vane. We're going to put in Zeri. We're going to put in Penta. We're going to put in a variation of Pentakill. There you go. Game title, League of Legends. Look how much work goes into all this, right? Everything looks good. The auto-formatted thumbnails are always trash. So I always tell people to make your own thumbnail. But YouTube does not let you, specifically towards shorts, does not let you make your own thumbnail. So really just picking whatever the frame is, it doesn't matter. Because it's gonna auto play anyways. So we're gonna go next. Video elements. It's too short to have any video elements, right? Okay. The copyright check, there are none because we didn't do anything that involved any kind of copyright. And it's going to be public. Now I can schedule this for a later time because I actually have analytics on when my audience members and when the people that view my YouTube shorts view it, right? And it's actually not, most of my YouTube shorts are actually viewed overseas. But I just put it up there. You know, if people want to see it, they get to see it. But the truth is that if I was really inclined to, I would make it so that it popped up when my viewership is online the most, so that it would jump to the top, because YouTube always shows you new stuff first, right? But I'm only going to be controlled by that algorithm so much. So we're just going to publish it. Boom, published. Okay, we're going to copy that and close that and close that. And, well, you know what? We have it copied, right? So now we're going to copy paste.
I bring swift death.
And there it is on YouTube. It's amazing.
Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
So, last and final step, right? Last and final step. Last and final step is we open it up on the cell phone. Let's see. YouTube, library. Oh, look. The first thing on my library is how to make a YouTube short. Okay. library. Watch it on the phone. How's it sound?
Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
It's fucking clean. It's fucking clean. It looks great. We are done. We're done. Okay, where are we at? Almost 2 hours? No, we're over 2 hours. Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. So OBS says we are at 2 hours and 46 minutes. Okay? That's how long it took to make a 30-second clip with very minimal editing. Now, I can do this much, much faster when I'm not explaining it, but the whole point of the video is that it's... The whole point of this entire process is that how to make something that's fairly basic, right? But the amount of work that goes into it and knowing how to do it. But I want to show you from the very first step to the very last step of uploading the video, what the process entails. Like, video editing is not easy, but it's very rewarding. Like, I make money doing video editing, not on my YouTube channel, right? But I do make money editing elsewhere. But it started with making videos. I mean, my original videos are still up there. You can watch the first video I ever uploaded as a League of Legends like streamer, or a League of Legends clip, and you can see the difference between then and now, and it's, you know, wasn't that long. But practicing is where it is. You have to keep practicing, you know, and don't let, like, I'll post my stream and my channel in matches, and people be like, oh, you should quit. Da, 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 da. Don't quit, because if you keep at something, you'll get better at it, hopefully. And so with that, we're going to end this stream. It was very interesting to show you. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please like and subscribe. I might go back and like chop up this stream. But yeah, if you enjoyed what you watch, or if you learned something, please leave a comment, like and subscribe for more League of Legends content and video editing stuff. So thank you guys. We'll see you around.